Partitioning line segments. So our standard says that we want to find the point on a directed line segment between two given points that partitions the segment in a given ratio. Don't worry, you don't have to write that down, but that is the standard that we'll be addressing. So when you hear the word partition, well, when I hear the word partition, I automatically think of Beyonce's song. So we all know that in that song, she says, "Driver, roll up the partition, please." Okay, so a partition is in a limousine. It separates you from the driver, right? So that would be, let me mark that area. That would be this little part right here. The driver sits up there, you sit in the back. And the partition is the little, it's like a tinted window thing that can go up or down, to give you privacy in the back of the limousine. So the driver's not all in your business, right? So we can sum all of that up by saying that partition means to divide. Partition, divide. So that's what we're going to be doing with our line segments. We're going to be dividing line segments by a certain fraction. Today we're going to focus on the fractions, okay? So for this, we'll be using a formula. You do need to write this down. Well, actually, no, you don't need to write it down, because if you look at your formula sheet that you were given, and if for some odd reason you have lost your formula sheet, I'll be nice. Mr. Haney in my file cabinet that says coordinate algebra, in that first folder, there are some extra formula sheets if anyone does not have one. Because in this unit, guys, you're going to need this formula sheet. Every single lesson deals with one of the formulas on this formula sheet. So with that being said, I've actually screenshotted this off of the formula sheet. So here are either of the two formulas that you'll be using. So what we're going to basically be doing is dividing our line segment by a certain ratio or a fraction. And we're going to see what point or ordered pair that is that divides that line segment. So your final answer is going to be in ordered pair format, parentheses, x, comma, y, close parentheses. So let's dive right into our first example. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. First objective. So with this lesson, all we're focused on today is we're going to find the point between two given points that partitions the line segment in a given fraction. So the thing that we're focused on today is what do we do when we're given a fraction rather than a ratio, okay? So if you want to, you can pause and take a moment to write this objective down. That would actually be great. So go ahead and pause the video and write this objective down and press play once you finish. All right, example 1. Before I even read it, let's just pause and write the example down. You don't have to draw the figure off to the side. I'll let you know what to do with that in 1 second. So go ahead and pause the video and write down your example. Okay, now that everyone has that written down, let's read through our example. Example 1, find the point Q that is 3/4 the distance from A to B, and then plot and label Q on the coordinate plane. Okay, so as far as this figure over here, you don't have to do a whole, coordinate plane and everything, but you do need to draw the line segment. So go ahead and just sketch it on your notebook paper. So draw you a line segment, label the points A and B. And then before we start anything, we need to identify what these points are. So looking at A, this ordered pair is -2, -3. Okay. And looking up here at point B, that ordered pair is 2, 5. So this is all you should have on your paper. Just draw your line segment, label the points, and then write the ordered pairs that go with the points. Again, you don't have to worry about, drawing that whole coordinate plane. All right, so the first thing that we need to do, and I do stress that you do this until you get the hang of this, is go ahead and write down the formula. So the formula that we're going to be using for this one, since we're provided with a fraction, is the bottom formula. So we have x1 plus a over a plus b. And excuse the handwriting, it's hard to write with this pen. x2 minus x1, comma, y1 plus a over a plus b, y2 minus y1. Okay, so this is our formula. Now, when we go to substituting things in, okay, the reason we're using this one is because we're provided with a fraction 3/4. Well, it's very simple because this 3/4 is simply going to be plugged in for a over a plus b. Okay, because we're already given a fraction, we don't even have to find this. It's given to us. So in this place, we're going to put 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that down right up under it. Now, when we talk about these x1s and y1s and x2s and y2s, all that is saying is we're looking at our ordered pairs. So what is the first x value? What's the first y value? So this is where we pay attention to the part that says directed. It's a directed line segment. We're going from A to B. So that means that A is our first ordered pair and B is our second ordered pair. Okay? So that really simplifies things. So our first x value is right here. This is our x1. And this is our y1, our first y value. This is our x2, our second x value. And our y2, our second y value. So I'm simply now just going to come down and I'm going to plug those things in. Let me go back to my blue. Okay, so our x1 we see is -2. Bring down your plus sign. Our x2 is 2 minus our x1, which is -2. Okay, notice we have a minus and we have a -2. Okay, do not forget your minus. It's included in the formula. Okay, so our y1 is -3. Bring down your plus. Our y2 is 5 minus our y1, which is -3. Okay, so now we have everything filled in, plugged in. We just have to simplify. So I always start with my parentheses. 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. Bring everything down. All right, 5 plus 3 is 8. Bring everything down. Okay, so it's already looking simpler already. So now order of operations tells us that we need to multiply first. Okay, so we're going to multiply this together. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so over here we're left with -2 plus 3. And over here, 8 times 3 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So over here, we're left with -3 plus 6. So this is already looking just a lot easier than this fancy, formula that we had above. So let's go ahead and do our integer rules and combine these like terms. -2 and +3. What does that give us? 3 minus 2 is 1. And then -3 plus 6, or 6 minus 3 is 3. So our ordered pair, which is point Q, is 1, 3. So I'm going to come up to my graph and I'm going to plug that in. I'm not plug that in, but I'm going to plot that point. 1, 3 is right here. And that is point Q. Okay. So what we're saying is that if we travel from point A to B, that this section right here is 3/4 of the line. Okay. Because we wanted to partition or divide this line segment 3/4 of the way. So going from A to Q is 3/4 to B. Okay, so that means that this section right here is 1/4 of the line. All right, so that's all we've done. Now, I know that seemed like a lot, but it's actually not. Okay, the main thing that you guys need to remember is where things need to go. So I highly suggest when you get your ordered pairs, numbering them, deciding which one goes first and which one goes second, and then go ahead and making sure that you label your ordered pairs. That's the most important thing. Okay, So now you guys are going to try one on your own. You try number 1. So pause the video and let's take a minute and copy this down. And actually, you guys are going to try this by yourself. So do not press play on this video until everyone has had the opportunity to try this on their own. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and write down the formula. Well, I don't have to write down the formula. You've already done it on your paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and start plugging things in. So if we're going from N to M, N is our first ordered pair and M is our second ordered pair. So that's the first step. Did you do it in the correct order? We're going from N to M. So that means that this is our X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay? So let's go ahead and plug things in. Our X1 is 7 plus 1/3. And then X2, -7 minus 7. Hopefully we're looking good so far. Our Y1 is 7 plus 1/3. Y2 is -6 minus Y1, which is 7. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me sit up, y'all. Okay, so now the first thing we need to do is simplify our parentheses. So -7 and -7 is going to give us -14. -7 and -6 is going to give us -13. And let's bring everything else down. Okay, now we need to multiply. So let's do 1/3 times -14. And I'm just going to leave mine as a fraction. Okay, so that leaves me, and I actually don't need that plus. Let me take that off. And that leaves me with -14 over 3. And over here, we got 1/3. Delete that. 1/3 times -13. And that leaves us with 13 over 3. Oh, that's the ugly parentheses. I'm sorry. All right, so now 7 minus 14 over 3. 7 over 3. And then 7 minus 13 over 3. 8 over 3. Okay, now, as far as plotting this on our coordinate plane, we got some ugly numbers, but that's okay. So let's just translate these to decimals so to make it easier for us to plot. But either way, it's not gonna be perfect because we don't have just whole numbers. So 7 over 3 is 2.3, and then 8 over 3 is 2.67. Okay. So, let's go over and see what this looks like. So, 2.3, that's about right there. And then 2.6. I'm trying. Okay, so it's about right there. That's pretty ugly, but this will be point Q. So what we're saying is that as we travel from N to M, we have 1/3. N to Q, I'm sorry. And then this part is the 2/3, okay? But there is our point Q. So hopefully you got this and you didn't freak out when you saw a fraction because you're still right. Great job. Now it's time to work on your practice. Good luck.